Race 4 of the weekend in Mini ROK is the final that we're filming. The first two races, though, have been dominated by the young man joining me. Now, Taylor Orridge. Like porridge, but better, that's what we're saying. But you've dominated those first two races. How much experience have you had in the Mini ROK class so far?
So yesterday was my first day in the kart.
So you've never been in a Mini ROK at all until Friday practice yesterday?
Yeah, I've never been in one.
That's quite remarkable. And the engine's brand new out of the box, is it?
Yeah, we picked them up Thursday night.
Right, so that's quite a remarkable thing to have a brand new engine out of the box. You've never sat in the kart till yesterday. So, listen, you've dominated the first two races. I don't need to ask you if you're loving it or not, obviously, do I? 2 wins and 2 comfortable wins as well. Did you expect this?
No, it was going to be tough with Jack, but I broke away at the start. And then it came towards the end and we had a big gap. And then that was it, really. It just came like that.
And I watched race 1 earlier, and the thing that impressed me most, I think you dropped to 6th on the first lap. You had a bad start, dropped back to 6th, and then just worked the gaps, worked your way forward, got the lead, and then just pull away. I know Alfie was challenging you early, but that was a remarkable performance.
Yeah, so I got run off on the first hairpin. So we went on the grass. So then we dropped down to like 6th or 5th. Then we came back and we had a bit of a battle with Alfie, and then we got in front and then they started battling, so luckily I got away.
Okay, well, we're going to be filming race 4. That's going to be a great race, hopefully, as well for you, and good luck for the rest of the series and, of course, the race coming up.
Thank you.
Carrying the onboard camera for us in the Mini ROK class today is Alfie Gallagher. Now, it's been interesting first couple of races this weekend. You had the lead in race 1 at one point. It looked like you could be the man to beat, but Taylor just seems to have some phenomenal pace. And then in race 2, obviously, a bit of a disaster for you. The throttle got stuck on, but just talk us through that race 1, because you seem to lose pace. You finished where in the end?
Finished 5th in the end, and like we had quite a good start. Well, not really. Got up into 4th, I think. So I lost a place, and then Zach Knight went for the move on his brother Will, so I followed him through, and then I just started trying to push with Zach to get to Taylor.
And it looked like you had the pace potentially to win that. I thought you were going to win that first race, and then it all sort of fell away. Was that tyres or setup?
Well, once we got to Taylor, we overtook him, and then I overtook Zach a lap later.
What do you make of Fullback? Is this one of your favourite circuits?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite tracks because you can just overtake at any corner, and like with like the slow corners and the fast corners, it just makes it a really close race.
Now, obviously, the second race there, obviously a mechanical failure with the throttle getting stuck. That's a little bit unfortunate for you, but looking forward, race 4 to come that we're filming, of course. You look like you could, if you get the kart right, you've certainly got the ability to win the race. I guess you now had that breakdown. You're looking to get a really good result. A win really is what you need, isn't it now?
Yeah. Well, we're going to be able to have a drop round for today, and then tomorrow I'm just going to have to go for it and try and get as many points as possible for the championship.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you.
One of the rookies in Mini ROK this weekend, driving for Build Base. Now, you may know Build Base Suzuki from the British Superbikes Championship, but this weekend they're supporting this young man, Ty Cuthbert, and Ty's dad, Chris, joins me. Just talk a little bit, Chris, about the difficulty in raising funds and sponsorship for children. I know they're children at grassroots sports. Not easy, is it?
It's not easy. It's incredibly expensive, and you know, without the sponsorship that we've received this year, there's no way we would have been able to get into this championship this year. We're all very incredibly proud. Build Base, Plumbing Base, On Track, and PVF Scaffolding have all stumped up and got the kart, the engine, got into the championship. Where we're going to have some great fun, big learning curve, but we couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, and Ty, just tell us a little bit about yourself. You've only been racing for 10 months, is that right?
Yes.
So you're in Army Cadets, but you've moved to the Mini ROK, much more powerful unit. You've got a new kart here, I think slightly bigger. This is 950 chassis, this one, so 950, so slightly bigger chassis. How much experience, you're here at the Super 1 British Championships this weekend, how much experience have you had in the kart before you come this weekend?
This is my first ever time. I came here on the Friday to test it, and
So you've never sat in this kart until Friday?
yes,
It's your first day, okay. So you're inexperienced anyway, just 10 months in. How have you found it so far, just on the Friday practice and yesterday, the first round with the first 2 races?
really fun to drive.
But challenging, I guess, because, I mean, and so for you, your target this weekend is, I guess, just get time in the seat, enjoy it, and go away from here and try and progress moving forward?
Yeah.
And what's your long-term ambition, Chris, for Ty?
Long-term ambition, again, we really want to do the Super 1 Championship next year. Get a lot of track time in the new Mini ROK. It's new everything, isn't it? So a lot of seat time this year for him. And next year, hopefully, we'll be up there on the podium.
Okay, well, the main thing is to enjoy it, and I know you've always got a smile on your face, and I love to see that. So good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
As the smiler, he should be sponsored by Alton Towers, shouldn't he? Taylor Orridge and Jack Hobson on the front row from Zach Knight and Leo Jackson. Gussie Hudson and Fraser Anderson from Cartwright, Woods, Sidler and Kira Harris rounding up the top 10. Further back, it's Ty Cuthbert and Lucius McDermott. From Oliver Stilt, Alfie Gallagher, Charlie Pritchard and Will Knight after an exclusion from the previous race. Watch him charge his way through. We saw them battling in Army Cadet earlier. They're up to action again in Mini ROK. Let's rock! Down towards the hairpin for the first time, and this is going to be an interesting battle. Already we challenge our way forward. That is Knight to our right hand side, and up the inside that comes Gussie Hudson. We go through the hairpin, an opportunity on the way through. Well, Hudson's going to get a great run on Hobson. Now Hobson's trying to signal to him, just hang back mate, work with me. Taylor Orridge is your leader, has won all 3 races of the weekend. That's fine, it's been in contact. Oh dear, problems already. We've lost Sindler, we've lost the 24 of Charlie Pritchard in that manoeuvre. Also, we had Jacob Woods, and I'm fairly sure Lucius McDermott was in that one earlier on. But Jack Hobson in second place, he's the man who won the earlier Honda Cadet final, of course, and he's here in Junior ROK as well. So, the 3 drivers in the front end of the field, Taylor Orridge, Jack Hobson, and the 36 of Zach Knight have all won finals this weekend. They have all been race winners in separate classes, and that's a lead change. That is a move from Jack Hobson up past Taylor Orridge. Taylor Orridge is trying to come back through. Leo Jackson is our onboard cameraman, and there goes Taylor Orridge back on the inside. Taylor Orridge, of course, teammate to Zach Knight. We're on board with Leo Jackson as we watch the leading 3 battle away for position, but it's Taylor Orridge back in front of Jack Hobson and Zach Knight. Leo Jackson in 4th, then Alfie Gallagher having fought his way up into 5th position. What a start from Alfie Gallagher from P14 on the grid. We're on board with him now. And he's watching this squadron of drivers up front. Alfie Gallagher storming through from P14. The number 14 is now in 5th.
Yeah, amazing start for Gallagher. As you say, Jake, comes from 14th to 5th. He's got a 9,000 subscriber YouTube channel. If you want to search it, guys, Gappinger Tube HD. That's GATTINGER Tube HD. To have a look at Alfie's YouTube channel.
Well, he might get 9,001 subscribers by the time this day's out, as up the inside. There goes the move from Zach Knight. I didn't want to suggest that he's only going to get 1 more subscriber, but he's definitely going to get an additional one. That's me. I'm a YouTube freak. I love it. Through they come again. And that's a brilliant move from Zach Knight to get through past Jack Hobson, but Jack Hobson's not done yet. Sat there in 3rd position. We're on board with Leo Jackson as he watches the leading 3. Behind us is going to be Alfie Gallagher, but for how much longer at his current pace? 2 camera crew, the mobile camera crew, are going to be there in 4th and 5th battling away before very long indeed. We come off the final couple of corners. There is Alfie Gallagher. You just saw him coming into shot. Number 14. Behind Jackson, 4th and 5th are our camera crew. Then in 6th place is Fraser Anderson. Then it is the 12 of Gussie Hudson. And that is Will Knight charging through into P7 past him. Will Knight from the back of the grid after his race 1 exclusion. Up the inside though comes Hobson. Makes the move on Zach Knight. And he gets through into 2nd place. So Taylor Orridge leads it. We're on board with Alfie Gallagher. That in front of us is Leo Jackson, the other cameraman. So they go through the left. through the right. Look how much the kart vibrates and gyrates through that chicane. Very tough part of the course this. You're keeping so much speed travelling through. Even in the slower hairpins, there's a lot of space. That's Jacob Woods battling away with Lucius McDermott as they battle their way through the chicane. Always important to keep an eye on the stars of tomorrow, not just the leaders. These guys are going to be racing. They were involved in the earlier incident, of course, so we'll keep an eye on how they progress through the field once again. Here comes Alfie Gallagher trying to make a bid to get past Leo Jackson. Can he come through? It's not quite going to be the move there as the leading three just check what's going on behind. But still Taylor Orridge from Jack Hobson and Zach Knight, Leo Jackson and Alfie Gallagher. Then Anderson, Knight and Hudson. 43 is next. That is Oliver Stilp. He's made some good progress from 13th on the grid to 9th. And then it is Rowan Cartwright who is there in the top 10 as well. Sindler, Harris and Cuthbert. Sadly, Fraser Anderson pulling off there. Fraser Anderson out of the race. And that is a disaster for the former Bambino star. Fraser Anderson from P6 out of the race with mechanical problems. Well, you've got to say, this is still a new formula. They're still working as they go. But obviously, something not quite right with Fraser's kart there.
Yeah, and we've seen, as we look at Alfie looking up the inside of Leo Jackson, can't quite get it done. Alfie Gallagher we're on board with. He's had two problems this weekend, mechanical problems, but not with the engine. He had a throttle his throttle got stuck on in one final. He had to come in, and then he had a throttle cable snap. Those are the two things that can go wrong. You hardly ever hear about those happening. Very rarely happen. If they did, it'd be once now and again. But he's had it twice in the one meeting. What can go wrong with the throttle cable for Alfie Gallagher has gone wrong, unfortunately, this weekend.
A real disaster as those two continue to battle. That is still going to be Woods versus the 91 of McDermott.
Just want to point out there, as Jacob Woods and McDermott went through the chicane, did you see the line, Jake? They never went across the curb. This is the battle they're in now for 14th after the early collision. This is where they can learn. If they look at someone like Alfie Gallagher on board, he's crunching that first curb as it goes through the chicane. But those two drivers there, Woods and McDermott, a lot less experienced than the rest, and they are missing the curb, and that is long. See how the front drivers there are going straight over the top of that curb, half the kart over the curb, and the likes of Jacob Woods and Lucius McDermott not doing that, and that's where they can learn. Watching this back, the fastest way through that turn is to take as much as you can of that curb if you can get away with it. Of course, we saw one driver earlier, all four wheels across the curb.
Very true. Here they come once again. Mini ROK Final 2 is going to be played out between these three by the look of it. Taylor Orridge, Jack Hobson and Zach Knight as they battle away. Alfie Gallagher, by the way, has got past Leo Jackson on that last lap. So they have swapped positions, and it looks like Oliver Stilp has now worked his way past Gussie Hudson to move up into P7 behind Will Knight. So a lot of changing of positions through the field compared to the grid. And now this is going to be an amazing battle between these three, captured from the drone. We love it here at Super 1. It captures the real bird's eye view of the best kart racing in Britain. Taylor Orridge, Jack Hobson, Zach Knight. Any one of these three could take the victory in Mini ROK here today. 5.5 on the clock, plus the additional lap, and it's looking quite racy now as Hobson tightens up to Orridge into braking zone with some support from Zach Knight. It's going to be any one of these three that takes the victory. They're very evenly matched in terms of pace. Taylor Orridge has been dominant all weekend, but now he's got a real knife edge.
You're talking about being dominant. Taylor Orridge not only has been dominant, he's just cleared off from everybody. He's had that much pace. But I did say to Mark Baines, you might want to mention to him, Mark, that the TV cameras are about to come out. And if you want to win one race over the weekend, he's won the earlier 3 races. But if there's one you want to win, it's when the cameras come out. And look at this. The cameras come out and he's absolutely under pressure. He has not had this pressure in the 3 races so far this weekend. He's actually won at a canter. Not now.
I can remember a famous story from back in the day, late 90s. It was that same season of Lewis Hamilton in his karting days. It was in the cadets. He used to get Thomas Wedgwood versus Adam King every week. I wonder if they're listening. Hello, boys. Thomas Wedgwood used to win all of the races before the cameras came out, and then Adam King would win all the ones afterwards. And it'd be King who came out as champion. That is a brilliant bit of battling with the lead of the race, as Zach Knight has now come through. into the lead of the race in front of Taylor Orridge, with Jack Hobson down to third position. Watch as they fly through. Epic footage here as they charge down that back straight. Taylor Orridge now having to get back on terms with Zach Knight, who takes the lead in Mini ROK. They come down towards the final few corners of the lap. But there's still so long of this race left, 3 minutes 45 plus the additional lap. A lot can happen around this racetrack. 50 seconds for the lap in these Mini ROK karts. So there is still plenty to do down the straight. Taylor Orridge down to second behind Zach Knight. Is he going to get through to the chicane? Not quite. Let's watch them from the drone as they dive down to the hairpin. Taylor Orridge not quite able to keep up, and up the inside, that's Hobson making a late lunge on Taylor Orridge. I think that's the first time all weekend that Taylor Orridge has been down during the race, as low as third position. My goodness. So Taylor Orridge, if he wants to win this one, is going to really have to pull it out the bag.
And now we're going to see what Taylor Orridge is made of, Jake. He's had it all his own way so far, just got to keep calm. He's got to take a view as well, got to take a view. The championship is in the long term. That's Jacob Woods with Lucius McDermott. Looks like Jacob's getting away from Lucius. Let's have another look. If we see them going through the chicane again, no, we don't quite see it. Or do we? No, we don't, unfortunately. But Taylor Orridge has had it all his own way so far this weekend, but now in third place. He's not experienced this. Now he's got all the championship points in the bag from the first 3 races. He may take a view as well, a change of lead. And that is Hobson back through to the lead, Jake, dropping Zach Knight down. But Knight's going up the inside, has a look, can't quite get it done. But Taylor Orridge may take a view about this, thinking I've got points in the bag, or will he? I'm not sure second is in his vocabulary, and certainly third isn't.
This is going to be fascinating because, of course, these 3 have now all had a turn at the lead of the race. Taylor Orridge, Zach Knight, and now the new leader is Jack Hobson. They're all going to have a turn at the front as these 2 continue their battle. Now, watch them as they come through the chicane. This is what Alan's been talking about. Look, they're nowhere near the curb as they go through. They're so smooth. They're at the line, but they're not over the curb, and that's where they are losing time.
Yeah, Jacob was certainly around the curb completely. Lucius just clipped it, but not enough. And that's what they'll learn by watching back here. Next time they come here, they'll know exactly the line to take.
So the battle's still very strong behind as Alfie Gallagher runs in front of Leo Jackson. Will Knight has come up to 6th position, by the way. It's his brother, Zach Knight, who's battling away for the race victory. Just a few karts up the road. Well, Jack Hobson wants to do what he did in Honda Cadet, and that is lead and run away. But he's going to have so much pressure from Zach Knight and Taylor Orridge. All 3 of them have won races through the course of the weekend. Jack Hobson, of course, won the Honda Cadet final. Zach Knight just missed out to brother Will Knight in the earlier IAMI Cadet final, but he has won the races earlier on in the course of the weekend. And Taylor Orridge, of course, has dominated every Mini ROK race bar this one, and he is still battling away. 3 laps to go. And up the inside, that's the move from Orridge on Zach Knight. Very nice bit of driving there from Taylor Orridge. And now the gap has opened up. Look, a little bit between him and Jack Hobson. Hobson now really needs to take advantage of that as Will Knight has gained massive ground on Leo Jackson. He's going to try and go for it as Stilp is battling with Sittler. And up the inside, that is a bit of a lunge from Pritchard on the inside there of Rowan Cartwright. And I don't think Rowan's going to be particularly happy about that one. Pritchard, he did put his hand up to say, sorry, didn't mean to. Well, you still gained advantage by contact.
Yeah, he did. Not deliberate. He may get a nose cone penalty for that. That may have dropped his nose cone down, and if so, it'll be a 5-place penalty, I believe, this year.
Well, Jack Hobson in front of Taylor Orridge and Zach Knight. Alfie Gallagher and Leo Jackson still battling away, and Will Knight is up the inside of Leo Jackson to try and get the move. He hasn't quite managed it, but Will Knight is fighting to get into that P5 spot. Then Oliver Stilp in 7th from Sittler. Hudson, Pritchard now in front of Cartwright, and then Kira Harris and Ty Cuthbert with Jacob Woods in front of Lucius McDermott, and sadly the retiree from earlier, Fraser Anderson. Now these 3 continuing to battle for the victory. This is going to be close, actually, because we are now out of time. So this is a lap and a half to go. If Zach Knight is smart, he'll work with Taylor Orridge for the next half lap to get back on terms with Jack Hobson, and that is exactly what he is doing. They are chomping away at that gap to Jack Hobson. This is going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, it is. All the way through the line this time. Last lap, just mentioned Kira Harris and Ty Cuthbert. We've not seen much of them, just due to the fact that they're slightly in the wrong position as the cameraman cut back. And Orridge looking up the inside, can't quite get it done. A little bit of contact between them.
This is going to be so tight. Taylor Orridge trying to go for the move on Hobson. Meanwhile, further back, Will Knight had his hand in the air. He's already got past Leo Jackson for P5. I wonder if he thought the race was over. He was gesturing something. Jack Hobson comes through. Taylor Orridge in second place. Zach Knight in third. He's going to go for it. Oh, he's hit him! He's gone on the side and into the side of Hobson. Goes the 36 of Zach Knight. Orridge has gone through and taken the lead as a result of all that. There's another magnificent battle between Harris, Woods, Cuthbert and McDermott further back, but Orridge has swept through and taken the victory. Now, the question is going to be, will he get a penalty for that? Because that could well be deemed advantage by contact. That's going to be a very dramatic moment. Let's look at it again. He dives up the inside. Hobson's taken his racing line. Look, he's come from a long way back. He's left his braking far too late. Taps the back of Hobson. Hobson spins into the path of Knight. Knight has got a front fairing penalty. Orridge has for the incident. So Hobson needs to get his foot down. He's gesturing. Gallagher passes him. And that is for the victory once the penalties are taken into account. Gallagher wins it from Hobson then. Jackson is third. From Stilp and Sintler, Orridge and Knight are demoted to 6th and 7th. From Gussie Hudson and Charlie Pritchard, the other Knight brother, Will Knight, is in 10th. But Alfie Gallagher steals it at the last.
Alfie, you carried the onboard camera for us today. There was a bit of drama on that last lap. Just talk us through it.
Well, we had a nightmare in the pre-final. I was up for like a top 3 or 2, and then my throttle cable snapped, so I had to start right from the back in the final. First lap, I just had to just make up as many places as possible. Got up into 6th, chased down 5th, got 5th, chased down 4th, got 4th. And then I was like 4 seconds behind the leaders before they started scrapping. And then just before they started scrapping, I managed to catch up to them and got 1 second behind, but didn't get involved in the dogfight. And then on the last lap, coming into the second hairpin, I'm not sure entirely what happened, but there was a massive coming together, and Jack Hobson got spun round, and one of them got a drop down, and then another got a penalty, so I managed to get the win.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
In the end, all that drama leaves Jack Hobson ahead in Mini ROK, tied with Taylor Orridge as they go to the next round. Zach Knight there in third place from Leo Jackson, and Luke Sintler rounding out the top 5.